What's up guys, Charles Darwin here, bringing you some impossible creatures. Oh look, Pyrotoz is referencing another obscure game that no one's ever heard of. Wait, don't leave just yet, you might be interested. I genuinely think that everyone will be interested in this game, because it is the most unique game I've ever seen. The basic premise of the game is that you take two standard animals, so there's a whole list here, like a horse, a hippo, an ant. You take two animals and you combine them together to make one new animal, a hybrid if you will. And you do this 9 times to create your own personal army, and then you use this army against the other team, who has their own army, in order to beat them, right? Now each standard animal has their own stats associated with them. So they have health, defense, speed, and also they're measured in cost. 2 resources, coal and electricity. Electricity is generally for abilities and stuff, whereas coal is for the raw power, like the health, the defense, the attack, and all that kind of stuff. Here I'm combining a kangaroo and a horse, and each of these different attacks and the stats and stuff are associated to different parts of the animal. So you can see, for example, when I gave the back legs of the kangaroo, I gained the ability leap attack. As you can see in the right hand side of the screen, the back legs are highlighted with leap attack, meaning that that is what gives it the ability. And also different melee attacks are associated with different parts as well. Now this is my army I've made earlier. Agent Fuck Up, as you can see, is a scout. With the head of a snowy owl, you have a very big sight radius, so it's very useful for scouting in the early game. And animals are divided up into different, tiers and stuff. The raw animals are, and as well as the hybrids as well. So you have 4 types of animals. You have ground, swimmer, amphibious, and flyer. Obviously, amphibious would be stuff like hippos or crocodiles. If you give a land animal like the tail of a fish or something, it becomes amphibious, right? Also, the attacks are divided into different things. There's melee, range, and artillery, and this is the standard kind of triangle of attacks thing where you have melee is good against artillery, cost-wise, because artillery can't really attack at close range. Range is good against melee, because, do damage before they get to you. And artillery is good against range because it basically does splash damage, so where it'll launch a projectile, and it'll do damage in a radius around it, kind of like a noob tube, if you will. There you go, there's the Call of Duty reference for all you fanboys. And that's basically how it works. That's the triangle of attacks. And with the 9 creatures, it's divided up into 5 different tiers. So, tier 1 to 5. And you research at the lab different ages. So if you ever played Age of Empires, it is pretty much like advancing from the, the Castle Age to the Imperial Age or whatever. It's just like that. And you do this with your resources. As I mentioned earlier, electricity and coal. And you collect these by using your henchmen. The henchmen are your main builder units and your gatherers. They are the economic and, in fact, the only human units in the game. And they gather coal by just simply mining the coal piles. When you get electricity, it's autonomous gathering, but you build the buildings such as the lightning rod and the electrical generator. Here you can see a couple of little battles here. My cats and dogs, which are half hyena, half cheetah. They have the pack hunter ability, hence the red bubble around them. I'm kind of addicted to those group ability things. And for those wondering, no, I do not think of myself as a decent Impossible Creatures player. I'm actually pretty bad. This is the only time I've ever beaten a standard difficulty AI. Normally it's just easy difficulty. And I played one online game, right? One online game, and I got completely destroyed, and that put me off it forever. But I'm not claiming to be good. All I'm doing is showcasing what a great and unique game this is. And if any of you guys want to try it out, then feel free to, download a torrent or whatever. It's pretty old, so the file size isn't too big, so you can probably easily torrent it. Or if you're feeling particularly law-abiding, you can just buy it off eBay or something. I doubt it costs too much, but I haven't really checked. Anyways, you see I'm being attacked by, on my little outpost there, and I neglected to build a sound beam tower. And I'm sending an invasion force here. All these guys have the herding ability. Like I said, I'm addicted to those abilities. So this is basically a tier 3 invasion in their base. And you really want to tech up the ages. It's basically about getting the balance between teching up the ages, sorting out your economy, and getting creatures, out and attacking. That's basically what all strategy games are about. And this one in particular, it relies very heavily on, knowing which creatures do which thing best. Because there's so many different abilities to think about. And even within just the raw animals themselves, there's, for example, a bat. A bat's a bat, but it has the ability of flying. It has the highest sight radius of anything in the game, ironically, even though it can't see. Has the sonar pulse ability, which reveals a small area of the map. and defile land, which basically, I guess it shits on the ground and stuff dies when it walks over it. I don't know. This thing here is called One Man Army, and for a good reason. It has the ability Loner, which is the green bubble you can see. And Loner basically increases all the stats of it by a huge amount when it's fighting by itself. And the cost of this is that it costs a ridiculous amount of electricity to build each one. Pretty, I'd say it's overpowered, but I haven't really gone into depth of like the stats and stuff, so I don't really know that. Anyways, I'm using the Impossible Creatures, both of the expansions here, which are the, I guess, patches, not expansions. The 1.1 mod, which adds a few more creatures and some balancing. And I get pummeled to death by henchmen here, that's pretty embarrassing. And also the Insect Invasion 1.4 patch, which gives a lot of new creatures, such as the Black Widow Spider, which One Man Army is using with a tiger. The campaign is an interesting format. You play with 2 human units, Rex Chance and Lucy Willing. You go through an adventure, you're looking for Rex Chance's dad or something, I don't know. But anyways, the whole concept is you go through the game and you gather DNA on the way. So you start off with just a couple of creatures to combine with, like a mountain lion and a lemming or something. And as you go along, you get Rex to shoot them and collect DNA from wild animals. So for example, you know, a bull or a muskox or something. You gather DNA and it actually adds to your repertoire of DNA of animals, and you can use them in a creature combiner and actually win the campaign. So it's a pretty interesting concept for a campaign. Here I'm just kind of finishing them off. I build up my bullshits and my Pride of Canadas, and they're all going in to absolutely rape the other team. This is a tier 5 invasion. I specifically chosen to have high attack, high range, and, you know, high range attack for the Pride of Canadas because I got the sperm whale, and high melee damage for the bullshits because they are a lobster combined with a bull. It's basically just a giant lobster with a bull's head. I thought that was pretty funny. And charge attack from the bull's back legs. Now, a little note before the end. When I mentioned Impossible Creatures a while back, a guy actually contacted me saying about how he was part of the online game community for Impossible Creatures. And he's saying that basically online support has been abandoned by the developers and the publishers, you know, Relic and Microsoft. It's been completely abandoned. They closed down the servers, but they're still trying to play. They found ways to play, and they're releasing user patches and stuff. And they basically want to save the game, because I think it's a game worth saving. Like I said, I'm a bad online player. I do not play it myself just because I feel like I'd be horribly humiliated. But if any of you guys are interested in playing online and, you know, you want to get into it, contact this guy. I mean, I'll put the exact message he sent me in the description of this video if you want to read it. And he put a link to a forum. So if you want to check it out, then please do. I'm sure he'd appreciate it, I'd appreciate it, because it's definitely worth saving this game. But that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and that's the end of the video. Here are just the endgame stats that shows you in detail of, you know, which creature was the best, which did the most damage, all the abilities you use, your economy, your research, all that kind of stuff. And please let me know if you want to see more of these kinds of videos, because I do enjoy variety on my channel. PC gaming itself is kind of hard to record. My laptop is horrible. It actually took me many attempts to record this properly without lag and such. But where there's a will, there's a way. Goodbye.